G'day guys. Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the last video as much as I did. Ha ha. Um, Enough to really distract. Anyway, back onto the detector stuff. On the bench, I have another GP Extreme that has come in for updates, and on this one, I've just outboarded a couple of modules, one for each channel. On the receive, it hasn't got variable gain. Variable gain's getting put into this one, and variable frequency as well. So we'll just have a look at the moment. That is a dual preamplifier board, which can go over there. And what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is fire this up and just do a couple of initial measurements. So I wanted to tell people about the GP Extreme. It is a very, very capable detector, just with some modification to it. Because it doesn't have any way of having the gain adjusted in standard format, we can add that to the detector, the same as we do the GPXs. So what we've got at the moment, it's basically stock standard. I've taken out the existing front end and all the associated componentry, and I have put in two modules. They're not even, believe me, they're not even done correctly because it's outboarded. When it goes in, it gets done correctly. I had to twist the input wires around to make it a transmission line to negate interference, but that will add input capacitance and slow down the signal into the op amps. So, like I say, it's a bit of a compromise. Also, the output wires too are very long. Normally, they all sit in there very tight. They're only a couple of centimeters long, if. So I'll just turn this on. Whoops. And I'll tell you, I'm going to explain something about these detectors. We have no noise. That's interesting, isn't it? Why don't we have any noise? It is on. Oh, threshold was down. Okay. How you tell the difference about when you put a front end into a detector, you'll notice that you'll have to increase the threshold, because a lot of the threshold set point is done by internal noise being generated inside the detector. And if you have a look at this one, I was flicking into deep, it's not going to make much difference, but I'll try and twist this around a little bit. If you can see, I don't even know if I can see. I don't want to wrench anything. But see, on the threshold, I'll get something to point. This is the customer's own setting, so the customer will know who he is, and his blob of paint right there. If you can see that, that's where the threshold was. That was a threshold set point. And if I put it on the white paint, basically you can't hear any threshold anymore, because the noise internally generated in the detector is a lot less than what it was before I put these modules in. That shows you that these modules are working and massively reducing the noise. It's got a really large effect on the detector to reduce the noise. So I'll turn this up. You have a look at how high the threshold is just to get a tickle out of it. That's where it is now. Can you? I don't know if you can see that. I'll see if I can zoom in without upsetting the apple cart with everything. I need two hands to do this because I'll loosen something, and then we'll try that. I'll see if I can get that up. Up. Oh, there we go. No. If I loosen it too much, the camera will go smashing downwards. Oh, there we go. Okay. I'll zoom in a bit more just in case you can't see it. But if you can see where the white dot was, that was normal threshold. Now you can't hear it. It is not even making any noise whatsoever. It's working perfectly fine. But you always wonder, you could actually detect like that if you wanted to, but it's better off to have a bit of threshold. And we're basically straight up now. So that gives you an idea of the amount of noise we have reduced out of the receiver. So without disturbing too much, because it's all in a lot of bits and pieces, and this is just a show and tell. So if I go up, I'll grab the camera, I'm going to put it right near the coil, leave that exactly how it is. As soon as I start moving the camera, I heard it make some interference. Bear with me. I'll get this up in the air. I'll wind it, it's all right. I'll loosen that. And I'll wind this up. Turn that around. And I've got this zoomed in a bit, so I might have to zoom it. But anyway, you can see, I've probably zoomed in a little bit too far. Yeah, that's a little bit, 1 point less than 1 to 1. So not much difference. Let's just see how this works. There's no variable frequency in this yet. There's no variable gain. It's just the input stages have been done, and componentry on the input side has been modernized, and it will hopefully work a lot better. So it's on a fairly big coil at the moment. That's standard 11-inch double D. But I'll get round this side. We'll use our trusty old 0.05 gram. Even with the noise in the workshop, oh, I haven't got the other microphone on, damn. Oh well, if we go to a 0.1, point one's way up here somewhere. Just there in the noise. But we have got it sitting in suburbia, of course, with the workshop on. And the thing that makes the most noise, I found, is the actual heater. The motor in the heater makes a lot of interference. But out in the goldfield, we don't need to worry about that. Now I'm trying to find my tiny one, and it's here, actually. I left it on the coil. It's on the transmit side, but yeah, our 0.0025. You see it on the end there? I don't know if you can. It's very hard to see. It's tiny, but can we pick this up? Easy as. Out there. And like I say, that's why these are a very, very capable detector once they're upgraded. And I haven't even put high frequency in there. This thing's running short pulses at about 28. It's about 28 kilohertz. If you really want to get technical on the pulse lengths in frequency, so you can always look at the shortest pulses as a top frequency. So basically, 28 kilohertz is the repetition frequency of the square waves, which works out to about 35 microseconds. So, and as per hot rock response, we'll use Kalgoorlie Hottie. I don't know if we're in tracking or we're not. What are we in? We are, but I'll just flick it for a quick and get round quickly. gone. So it's handling hot rocks really, really well, which means it'll ground balance on anything. So what I'm going to do when I do these, I've still got the other two there. I'm going to take them out. I'm going to take this out as well. I mean, I'm not going to take that out. Well, I'll probably take that coil, but I will take out that detector as well. And we will do some tiny, tiny gold target tests. And we're going to do some very, very big target tests because people accuse me of not testing the detectors. I only test them in the workshop, but I don't. David does. David's the one who lives right next to the Canadian forest. He's the one that does the tests. So yeah, it's not me. And he doesn't make videos unless he's with me making videos. So, all the storytelling that's been going on, get your facts straight. If you're going to make comment, don't shoot from the hip and make a goose of yourself. There's enough geese in the world as it is already. So yeah, that is that detector there, and I'll just drop this back down and put it back where it was. So excuse the earthquake while I do that. All the way down. Okay, and I'll move this over to the bench. I've learned to do this slowly. I've got stuff. I nearly put the leg on a detector. Don't want to do that, especially if it hasn't got the case on it. Yeah, so that is the input stage partially modified for the GP Extreme here. I don't know if you can actually see, it's got no front end in it, and there's a whole lot of work done on the back of the board as well for that input stage. But it's nowhere near optimum. You don't use big long wires like this hanging off. It will induce noise. You've got to get the cable short. We build it into the detector in the front there, and just make sure there's no noise coupling from any of the other parts of the detector, and usually runs quite well. So yeah, that's this thing. So using that tiny little target, not a problem. It picks it up beautifully. It even if we do this to a GPX detector, it's on par with the GPX. It is picking up really well. The older detectors, because they aren't as filtered and refined, they have an edge in some cases. If you can get out there on very quiet ground and where there's not a lot of EMI, you can have an edge over any of the later detectors within reason. You can't go and compare it to, say, on small gold. You cannot do a direct, fair comparison with, say, the GP ZZ7000. The reason being is the coil configuration of the 7000. It's a structure very similar to two double D coils, and where you get that double D overlap, it's very, very sensitive. So that's why with a lot of these small gold tests, if you want to compare it with a 7000, you must use a double D, roughly about the same size, to get an idea of how sensitive it is. And within reason, in that regard, the 7000 probably wins a little bit on the size of the transmit coil, and yeah, you probably want to up your coil size a little bit to match the transmit size on the double D to what is in the middle of the 7000 to do a fair comparison. But all detectors have their, what do you want to call it, their differences. I'm going to use a different word, but we'll call it differences in how they work and how they detect and how they react to EMI and just basically any terrestrial interference and ground noise. They all act differently. So with this one here, let's say with that much threshold, I'll just well, actually, I'll just turn it around. Probably the best way to do this. If I turn it around, it's probably a better way to see. Well, it's upside down, but you can see how much I had to increase the threshold to get a decent background out of it. I mean, it's, you know, you're not going to run out of threshold. If you turn it all the way, it's going to boom. But it just shows you that when you start getting the noise out of it, which basically doesn't bias the mixer for the audio on as hard as what it normally does, that lack of noise bias drops the threshold volume down. So yeah, you could adjust it inside too. If you want the threshold making a song and dance back down there, it doesn't make any difference though. You could change scaling resistors in the 2-transistor mixer. It basically mixes the variable frequency with the variable amplitude as a mixed a VCO, and that's the output from these things. You're basically mixing the two in a 2-transistor mixer setup, and that is the output. So like I say, you can change a lot of things on these detectors. There's a lot of componentry you can go and change, especially around the audio amplifier stage on these. You can make it, you can actually, if you really want, you could go and change so many components and put switches in and out, standard in and out. It would drive you crazy driving it. You know, you can put all sorts of filtering in certain parts of the circuit. You can do all sorts of things. There's so much you can do, but you know, you only want to re-engineer the important parts. You don't want to re-engineer all the little nitty-gritties, because you could do it as fixtures and make it better in that way, or what you perceive as better. But everyone has a different opinion on how they want the tone to sound, and there's people out there who hate VCO audio, and they want you know, audio like the old beach detectors, or some people even want audio. It sounds like a Geiger counter with the sharp clicks, because it is easier to discern target signals, especially if you're a little bit tone deaf and not sensitive to changes in amplitude. A lot of, in my opinion, sorry, I've got to say this, but in my opinion, the VCO audio on these detectors is not optimum for people with hearing disabilities. It really isn't. It's just too drony and constant, and it also causes mental fatigue listening to it for too long. So that's the story with that. So yeah, GP Extreme, and this is a very common name. Oh, this one needs a lot of stuff done to it. Yeah, Matt, if you're watching, there's millions of Matts, so no one will know which Matt it is. But this is your detector, and I'm working on it, so it's good. So yeah, gain, frequency, boost, quick track socket and handle. Oh, David's rolled up.
It has returned.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, okay. This is the detector that we're having the hassle with, where I got accused of sending it out not working, right? It was working. Why does it feel so heavy? Has someone filled it full of lead or something? It really feels heavy. Maybe just because I picked up this GP Extreme. This That doesn't feel right. Okay, how about while we've got the video going, this 4500, the drama one, where I was accused of all sorts of things, of sending out detector, mods don't work, this, that, and the other. How about I pull this apart right now, and we'll see what the story is. I just want to make sure that I don't tangle around there. I'll just put this out of the way, put him up there, and stay there near the oscilloscope. Make a bit of room here. I don't want to have my hard work with cut off bits of wire and solder and stuff. Okay, have we got the drill? Where's my drill with my Torx bit in it?
It does not have a Torx bit.
Oh, okay, the Torx bit's not in it. I don't want to use that. The Torx bit, where are you? You see a Torx bit anywhere? I've lost the bit that I've lost the important bit. I see it. It was under the detector. There it goes. Okay, guys, you can do some camera work if you want, Dave, while you're here. Yeah, you can go down. So yeah, anyway, let's take it apart. I could have fired it up, but I need the other battery. How about I just fire it up first? Before I pull it apart, whoops, I'm going to fire it up first, right? Because let's see exactly what this does. Because I sent it out faulty. Yeah, right. This is the one that had already been to a Minelab dealer for repairs, and those repairs failed. So we'll get the correct battery for it. Hook up some audio, plug it in, and bring it back here. Okay. Proof of the pudding is about to happen. Let's see what happens.
It's got that crazy jitter to it.
It has. Hang on. Yeah. Oh, the frequency's on 0. So they put don't want the back to pop off just yet. Hang on a sec. Frequency is 6. Can you see if it actually detects? Oh, by the way, we were told. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. It's working. So it doesn't work. Righto. Hang on a sec. I was going to change some stuff on the oscilloscope here. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Push the wrong buttons. Okay. I was told this didn't have the first sample. Let's have a look. Make sure I just fix that up. And I don't need that. I need to do hit invert so we can see. Now, have a look at that. Can you see the oscilloscope there, guys? This is the detector that doesn't work. 3 short pulses, around about 35 microseconds long or whatever they are. And just there, you can see the long pulse and the flyback pulse off the end of it. So what I was told is not true. Not true at all. So let's see, just as an initial, can you try it with a small target? I don't know. What are we even in? I don't even know what modes we're in. And I'm going to keep the back on this. Okay. We're in cancel. We're in tracking. We are in normal mode and deep. I'll just check the back settings on this just to make sure that. No, so I was just showing the threshold difference on the modify up extreme. Okay, don't want that. Okay, let's go through motion slow. Gain is on factory default, so the gain is set at 9. Everything else is, it's actually working quite well. Let's make sure the battery hasn't gone flat in the microphone. If you can hear that, working really well, and it's actually very punchy. So I don't know what's going on here with what I was told. Can you see if it does a hot rock? I want to make sure it's I was flicking in tracking, go for it. Got rid of the hot rock, no problem. Put in fine gold. There's a little bit of interference coming through now. Hear that? As soon as I change the mode, that means the spacing has changed. Are we in fine gold, or did I shove it into enhance? No, I shoved it into sorry, not fine gold. Try sensitive extra. 45. I've got 5,000s on the mind. So yeah, shove it in enhance. There we go. Got very short, sharp pulse in enhance. I'll just flick it. Fixed tracking. Tracks out beautifully. Can you check it with target, a proper target? We've got mains interference coming through. Not a problem. Let's put it in normal and put it in fixed. We just got a little bit of wandering interference. I'm down the low end. This has variable frequency in it. Thus, it's down at 0. Now let's turn the audio amp off so I don't deafen myself. Okay, where are you? Let's check the other set. I didn't reset it back to factory. It stabilizes 10 signals. It's at factory default, except someone has response is still inverted. That's a factory default. Audio tone 38, deep, RX gain 9, leave it there. Motion very slow, which is the way I would use it. Manual tuning is 6. So if you can see on the oscilloscope when I wind up this, and you'll see how our variable frequency works. Yeah. Yep, oscilloscope's going out of lock, doesn't like the complex changes. So there we are, we're on the highest frequency now. Let's see, it's quiet as a mouse. At 0.05. Let's getting that up quite high. But one thing, even though it's up high frequency, there's an issue with it. It is not as punchy as I think it should be. So what we have to do is find out why. That part I replaced has not failed. I thought it might have, but if you've got flyback pulses like that, that's just standard. That is how it's meant to work. So anyway, we'll pull the power out, turn my amp off, save the battery, and we'll strip this down and just see what the story is. Because I got the message back that where this was taken to, they put it on an oscilloscope and it said it didn't have the first sample. That is completely incorrect, and it does. Otherwise, it wouldn't pick up those small targets. I'll tell you that now. With a 120 microsecond long pulse, that would ignore those small samples. It just doesn't come in quick enough to pick them up. So, apart we go. Get in there. Always make sure the Torx bit is actually in where it's meant to go. So very gently, we'll disassemble this. Okay, it's 4500. Okay, there's no real identifying things on there. Life's good. That's LG. There's the MOSFET. Can you see that all right on the thing?
Yeah, good enough.
You can see that's the MOSFET I replaced. There's nothing wrong with that because the detector would be extremely crazy. Now, what I got told is the detector was extremely noisy and wouldn't detect anything. But I will say it's a little bit down. A little bit down. And it wasn't like that when I did it. It was far more punchy. But what I'll have to do, I'll have to dive in and see exactly what is going on with this detector too. I'm putting this all the way back to factory standard default. I'm taking everything out of it, and yeah, because after I repaired it, they wanted it modified. See, if you can actually see that this one's got exactly the same boards in it as what I have on that extreme, and the extreme is actually going really good. So something has happened to this, and I really doubt it is in my boards I put in there. I really doubt it, but I'm going to find out. I can actually do a lot of testing here, but I can, but I know this trying to get that out the door. That's all. It's all together. There's no wires popped off or anything. Anything I've done. I can't see anything whatsoever. There's nothing burnt. That's correct. It's all correct. That's correct. Our timings are perfect. So we need to find out what is going on. We've got to find it out. But don't know yet. It could be anything. It could be something gone down. Basically, in this detector, you could have any one of these chips here fail, and it will cause that problem. You could have any one of these chips here fail. You could have the drive to these MOSFETs not switching on hard enough. It could cause a problem like that, and where we got signal loss. But for some reason, it's showing signal loss. But I bet it's another different fault. It's another fault of some description. So it's going to take a little bit of time to work out. When I sort it out, yeah, like I say, I'll just strip it back down to bare basics and put it back a factory default. Take out variable frequency, take out the low noise gain stage, and you can just live with its standard gain stage. And yeah, that's it. So this is because of all that drama before that. Yeah, it's turned into wildfire, and now it's caused knee-jerk reactions everywhere by people being, you know, upset or whatever. Whereas normally just say, hey, we don't think it's working properly, not send us an email, and accuse, because you just tell people have been talking to other people, and that is how that's been generated, I'd say. But let's strip it down and put it back the way it was. So it's a very sad and sorry saga. When it did come in not working in the first place, it had been elsewhere to be fixed. So I just hope that I'm not going to get married to some lemon detector, but I'll put it back to factory standard using factory parts. So that should be the end of it. And yeah, my extra rated MOSFET has not failed. There's no way known that should fail. The other ones, the standard ones, fly very close to the wind with their rating and the flyback voltage. So they can get their internal structure punctured by high voltage. Anything that just quickly jumps up a little bit too hard and fast for, say, this capacitor here to damp it out, or this to turn on and squash it down as well, level it out. Something happens. Like I said, I was suspecting it could be a loose coil connector or connection under the heat shrink. Because see, I'll explain this to you, all you people out there, where this is under the heat shrink. How do you know that's soldered properly, right? You just hope it is. And in a lot of them, I've tugged on the wires and they've come straight out. They are not soldered properly. They're all dry joints. Or all you need is one of them to be a dry joint, and it will cause like miniature lightning every time it touches and breaks. And also faulty coils can also take this out as well. Any make or break in the circuit on the transmitter can take that out. Easy as, and if it takes that out, if that goes open circuit, well then you're going to have something like 240 volts or something sitting on here, and yeah, suddenly your MOSFETs have to handle that. They're only rated to 200 volts. They'll go pop, pop, and usually it'll send the high voltage straight into the input smaller FETs in here, the little transmit blocking FETs, and then it'll go straight into the op amps and take it all out. You'll have a very expensive repair bill. So anything that happens around here, you do have to check to make sure it's all right. I've already checked this. I made sure that the gate was getting, it's basically resistively controlled the way it works. It's getting the voltage rise and fall as need be to keep this at a stable 185. If it doesn't, the detector will make weird noises as well. It'll sit there and do a very fast whoopity whoop noise or a very slow whoop 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 noise. Sounds like 50 hertz. But it depends what's going on. If it goes out of loop, on its feedback loop, any of these parts here can fail. TLE, whatever they are, 2022s and 372s, whichever one's a which. There's another one down there. Any of those that fail in that loop voltage control, the detector will not stabilize the voltage. Across this big capacitor, the big zappy one that'll throw you over the chair if you touch the terminals underneath, which I suggest you don't. And that's basically it, you know. But I'm starting to suspect we may have another problem in here, and it could be somewhere in these ICs here, these little op amps. And I'll delve into it. Another thing that can also happen on this, when it goes pear-shaped, that MOSFET there can go short circuit. That's your damping turn on, turn off. If that locks on, the input's always damped and it can cause loss of sensitivity. So I'm going to have to check that as well. Now, like I say, I'm not getting paid for this. This is freebie. This is called the customer is upset. Keep the customer happy. It can go back to basically how it was, and he's only going to pay for the initial repair. So, and I've got those boards I can put into another job because I'm short of them at the moment, which actually suits me quite well. Enough of that. So when that's finished, I'll show that. We're going to get these detectors. We're going to go and show how they work out in the field. We will do that and video it just to keep certain people happy, pandering to their, you know, inner demons. And Dave laughs. But yeah, it is. It's the inner demons of some people.
You didn't catch me chanting the religious tune when I brought it in?
Did you?
Yeah, I was going Spirito Santo Nobile Fili. I thought I'd bring it back because that was pretty funny in the previous video. Yeah. I was like,
okay.
Up on it, man.
Dear me. Oh dear me. Okay. So anyway, we're gonna work on this and put it all back to factory default. Then I'm gonna make a video of it in factory default, all set up nicely. You know, this is called ass covering because I have to, because of what's happened and people's minds being poisoned by extraneous sources. You know, like I say, It didn't go out the door deaf. It just doesn't. But I could tell it was slightly. I would never have let it out the workshop like that. I'll tell you that right now. So yeah, as someone said, oh, my shortcomings are coming to get me or something. The most bloody. Oh, someone left a comment on the thing that your shortcomings are coming home to something. It's just stupid. Stupid. Um, you know, there's a lot of really good people in that make up the human race, but there's some bloody clowns as well. There really is. So don't be a clown. Be educated. Be rational, and treat things in a rational way. And don't do knee-jerk reactions triggered by third parties. That is the way uh, everyone should be, and then you won't have any issues. But yeah, you know, the amount of BS over one detector, right? One out of countless thousands has now caused these rippling drama effects everywhere. And that's why I made the previous video to basically, it's my right of reply because I can't do anything where this stuff is generated. So I just do a blanket right of reply and it'll filter through to everyone who's seen what has been said, and they should be able to make a rational judgment of what has occurred. Okay, so this initially was a repair. That is my repair. That is not an IRF 9630 in there. It's a different device which is higher rated. MindLab Techs would have put an IRF 9630 in there. Obviously, you can see it's not. It come here. It got repaired with a more beefier MOSFET in there. And I'll probably get the dead one in the bin there if you want to see it. But that is what happened. It has not failed from the initial fault. I thought it might have. I'm thinking, I was talking to the kid who owns this. I was talking to his old man about it and saying, it sounds like this, but now I'm suspecting it might possibly be because if this was dead, I didn't actually measure if it went short circuit or open circuit. If it went open circuit, it could have put 240, 50 volts onto that other 200 volt MOSFET that does the damping, and that could be open circuit. Or it could be short circuited, and that will cause low gain. Like, yeah, possibly, I don't know. It could have been partially damaged. When I checked it all, it was performing beautifully. Now it is deaf. This has occurred since it has left our workshop, and Dave has gone and looked at it, then made sure it was okay. It's gone out, and in the meantime, something else has failed. So yeah, I did the engine, the bloody diff blows up, and it's my fault. Right? Same analogy. I will fix it free of charge. I'll fix it free of charge. I'll make it work really, really well, but it won't have any modifications in it. I'll just go through, make sure everything's aligned up, and you can just have it as a standard detector. Because the initial treatment was not good. It really wasn't. It was just accusational and really just stand up tactics. I know people's minds got poisoned into doing that, so I do take that into account. But don't fly off the handle and say things that you're making a technical analysis. You don't know anything about technical things, and you don't know anything about detectors, and you listening to people who I classify as non-qualified to talk about them. So that's my rant. It's my second rant for the day. This is what happens if I get triggered. I'm going to drink lots of alcohol tonight. I tell you, I'm going to chill out and calm down because it really pisses me off. Because in all honesty, I've done nothing wrong, and then I get this massive barrage of people trying to make mileage out of something that is just a natural occurrence. I mean, how old are these detectors? Do I have to guarantee every bloody component on it that it's not going to fail? We know it's already had an issue with the flyback voltage. It can do other damage, and there's no way to know until it fails. And hello, something's failed, right? It's balancing. It was in cancel mode. It balances beautifully. We know there's nothing wrong with the front end that I've put in there. Otherwise, it would have skew-whiffed and been working on one channel and not the other. So we know that it's all balanced. Everything around this part of the circuit is fine. But if anything has happened to that chip MOSFET, I'll put a bigger one in it as well if you want. I'll put an IRLF 250 in there, or 213, sorry. And that's, instead of being rated at 60 volts, that's rated at 250 volts. It'll never fail. So yeah, it's a free gift. There's a lot of things I'm going to check on this. I'm going to go right over it. When it's all done, I'll put it up and show everyone how it works. Okay, then I might compare it to a proper working modified 45, and I'll show you how the performance differs. That might open people's eyes into reality of what goes on with these upgrades. But please, I'm trying to help people out here, and I get crucified over it. I'm not happy. Okay, so I'm fair. I'm doing a lot of stuff here for nothing. All my time here, have it, free gift. Um, the DetectorMods benevolent fund is in operation, and giving away the crown jewels. So please accept that it's all free. Everyone's getting fixed up, and yeah, this will be a really good standard detector when I've finished it anyway. It'll be standard, but it's not gonna. I'm not putting anything in there that's going to allow it to fail. I'm going to cover all bases on this. Anyway, that's enough of my rant. You can probably tell it sounds like I've probably taken, something that looks like busted up bloody ice cubes or something, but I haven't, because I'm just fired up, right? I'm just fired up. Yeah, you can't say certain things on YouTube.
That's all right.
Yeah, but yeah.
A lot of testimonials have come in after the previous video of how happy other people are. So
I saw that there was so many people commenting, and there's someone. It was Kim White or something, said something about your shortcuts are coming back to bite you or something. I don't know what it was. But the funny thing is, you go have a look at that username, it goes nowhere. It's never been used anywhere. Thus, I think it's just a quickly fake made up account by someone wanting to do a few quick goal kicks. That's the trouble with this anonymous business on the internet.
it's not really anonymous though. Your IP address is linked to everything you touch.
I know, but even VPNs can be tracked back through the initial through the VPN. Then get court order. You find out who's behind it all if you really want to. Been down that road before, and was I don't know, probably 5 inches away from launching legal action for defamation. I collect everything, I do, and people inform me. So don't think you can do it anonymously and tell your friends, because some of your friends will out you. I'll tell you that right now. And I'm not saying anything more about that, but yeah, I get a lot of we look after a lot of guys in the detector area, and some of them are really good, and we get on really well, and they find out stuff, and they do tell us. We are informed. We know a lot about what's going on all over the place. Some of it we just sit on like little eggs, and if we need to hatch them, we will. But if things calm down and people behave and stop making clowns out of themselves, well then, it just goes away. I don't care. But don't continue on with something that you've been educated on, that what you were saying is not true, and keep peddling the BS. Do not do it, because little me might really arc up. So yeah, we have. I'm just telling you the truth of things. Every so often, I think sometimes we have an issue, maybe 1 to 2% with our customers. Would that be fair? How many?
Maybe yes. One.
It's like 1 or 2 every. I don't know. What would it be? One or two every 6 months, and normally it's very easy to fix. It's something so simple, you know. And sometimes it's been, oh, I didn't realise if you turn this all the way up and that all the way up, it did this. Yeah, right. And the other thing too, um, people using older coils. The older coils are higher capacitance. They don't work as well at very high frequencies where we make these high frequencies. They're made for, you know, really good fast mono coils. Like, and I'll say it, like good fast mono coils, um, like what Nugget Finder make. They do make fast coils. I've got Advantage coils and I've used the Evolution coils. They are fast. The Advantage is my favorite because it's lower capacitance, it's got a higher self-resonant frequency, it's more sensitive, even though the other one's made to be more sensitive. But I'll get into it another day about flat wines. I don't want to bore the tears out of your eyes over it, or bore your eardrums. They do a meltdown. But there's like all this stuff. I know a lot about it. I researched the hell out of it, and you know, I don't go and say, oh, blah blah's coils are, you know, because of whatever. I just know that I can make a better coil. Actually, you want to see it? No, I'm not going to show you. Because it's given too much away. Sorry. Yeah, I built a coil up. You got no idea. It is absolutely fantastic. It's actually inert to most interference, and it's as sensitive as all hell. But dear me. Okay, I want to finish this. I'm going to make a video when I finished it, and make up your own minds at that point. But yeah, I will say it's a little bit deaf. I don't like it. It's a little bit deaf. Not a lot deaf, a little bit. So we'll put it back to how it is, and you know, and because what's been arranged, even if I do find another fault in here, something's gone down because of that's happened. I'm not leaving the mods on anyway. I won't do that. It's a matter of, it gets to a matter of principle after you know, getting your face pushed in the dirt. Sorry, it's just the way it is. But yeah, enough waffle. Dave's rolled up with this, which is good, and yeah, and you've seen exactly what the story is. It's quiet as, to me, it sounds like something else has gone pulling the front end down. But we will find out, and if it is that, I'll let you know. If it's not, I'll let you know. I'll find out what's going on. So this is an original 4500. It's not the one of the extra bits and pieces at the front of it, like the 5000. So yeah, no idea at this stage what the problem is, but it's in the receiver chain somewhere. We'll find it. Anyway, I better push the. Dave can push the stop button. Catches.
Ciao.